Good evening, Casper here. Welcome back to the channel. Today, midweek update on uranium. Is there anyone bullish left? I don't know. It's definitely one day where we have gotten kicked straight in the beep. I saw that the spot price is down to $81, give or take, and the miners also selling off quite heavily. It opened up 1.5% and it's now down roughly 4%, depending on which asset you look at there or which ETF. As always, guys, here, follow me, Twitter and YouTube. The more the better. I highly appreciate every single one of you. So with that said, if you don't want to have wouldn't say a bad story, but again here, today was definitely a bad day here for uranium. Our bear flags broke down on the ETFs. But yeah, let's get straight into business. There will not be a 1 hourly, analysis of the URNM because we have this midweek update here. So URA, the positive side. Yes, there is still a positive side. Yada yada. As many of you might well say, the blue uptrend still intact. It's actually pretty well defined still. That's one of the good things, and then we're still in this green potential bull flag. That's the positive side. The negatives, which there are plenty of here in the shorter term. Our bear flag here broke down, and we have that rising wedge lower trend line there. Bear flag breaking down below the 30 weekly, which is still coming up somewhat heavily. So the 30 weekly is still coming up. That's good. That's good. But yeah, you can see here, clear breakdown here. And also if we are to draw, if things gets really nasty, you can see there it is. Maybe blue is not the best. Let's do that. Let's make it bigger just for visuals. Not the prettiest, but you could argue again that that head and shoulders actually, and it does point to, and here comes the nasty part, a potential move, down into these highs here. And I think the measured move on the URNM is a bit better. Excuse me, on the URA, which we'll go over in just a minute. But again, here, this could be potential. If this blue uptrend doesn't hold, then definitely we are in for that's 46 down to 36-ish. That's $10. So you're talking roughly 20% here if this really starts to break down. So yeah, in the very short term on the 1 hourly, you can see it here. I want to show you. There's a lot of things going on here. That's the bear flag right there. Right, so that's not ideal. At least we did get a bit of buyers at the end, but again, who cares? It's the 1 hourly, so maybe not. URA, I want to show you. Same thing here again. I have it in there, the inverted, the head and shoulders, and the measured move is roughly perfect. Major retest of that big breakout that we had in the summer right there. So we could go all the way back to 22 on the URA. Who would have thought? Let's see where it all ends up. Sure, long term, as mentioned, weekly, monthly, I'm still bullish. However, as we also feared quite a bit here when we did the U1M 1 hourly, more or less daily reviews, that we are probably going to break down. And that's what we saw. And the fact that you have spot price dropping $8 from like 90 to 81, that doesn't help. U1M, I don't think we'll go into much detail. It's quite similar. We have broken some uptrends, and potentially we're about to break down from the 30 weekly here. Potentially we haven't broken down. You see that potentially we have a double bottom here. So there is still something that could save us from not going, drop 20% overall. But again, we need the buyers needs to show themselves really. You can see that important level coming across there. Very important, very, very important. Uranium spot price. So we are at 81 right here. roughly. And you can see here, we're coming down from 107, and we have a big pivot high there. Potentially, we could go all the way down there, potentially, which we also discussed, I think, 2 days ago, that could actually be the move, and that would be a 30% drop in the spot price. 30%. We also had 30% there last time. 20. So yeah, it's not out of the ordinary, but it definitely, it stinks. It really stinks. Here we have, it's not updated yet, the uranium price. Therefore, again, this should actually be green. But okay, in this case, you have the miners not going down as much as the spot price, which in theory is kind of, let's call it bullish divergence still. But again, that could quickly escalate to something worse. But again, let's see how it plays out here. Definitely today was a nasty day. I'm looking forward to see how big of the volume that was sold, from that drop from like 92 to 80, because I have a feeling that it is on very, very light volume. Maybe someone on Twitter or you guys can dig that out. That would be awesome. XLE against uranium, the big pushback came, or the big retreat, pullback came here in favor of XLE. Definitely 6% today in favor of XLE. URNM down 4, I think, and XLE down, roughly up 1 to 1.5%. So energy is here overall. Oil and gas is doing way better right now than uranium, or the URNM in this case. Also, if you look at oil, I think oil did very good today. You can see here, even though we don't look at oil, you can see here we are actually trying to really break out of that, above that. Let's call it $79 level for oil. Again, if energy goes, I don't think the damage will be as severe on the URNM. URNM against overall commodities. It has been, ever since we broke that uptrend, tagged exactly the 2021 highs. It's been down, 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 down. So let's see how low we can go. The daily, we're nowhere near any oversold conditions. Nasty candle today. Very, very, very nasty candle today. But again, let's see where it all ends up. Where do we have some support? If we also find any, we have. I'm just going to plug it in here. We have the low side there of that last move back, which we're coming into, and then obviously we have these lows coming in there all the way down. So as remember, just like I say on the way up, nothing goes in a straight line. The same thing applies to the downside. So uranium, URNM, in this case against Bitcoin. Bitcoin has done tremendously well. It has been down for 6 straight weeks, just down 50% in relation to Bitcoin. Heavily oversold on the weekly, daily even worse. Positive divergence, however. So again, these moves, they usually correct themselves before. It may be going lower, but this is a massive, I've never seen. Maybe over here you have similar, and you also saw some retracement there before we roll over. But definitely Bitcoin is still doing well. However, I do think that the tech sector is due for a very decent sized pullback, and Bitcoin should, I'm 90% sure, will correct with tech, because Bitcoin is so correlated to tech that it is not even funny. I don't have much on this one here. URNM against the NASDAQ. That ceiling is just a massive one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 times we pounded on that level. We can't reach through. And then you can see here we lost that low there, and we now have to see how low we can go. So definitely the NASDAQ is still, coming in favor of URNM. You have this low here, that big one there. Beautiful color, by the way. Beautiful color. So again here, if we go all the way down here, let's say we come all the way down, I expect a big bounce in that direction. But that means that URNM, needs to drop 10%, 13% when measured against the NASDAQ. This is, by the way, still, if you look at it from a patterns point of view, we have a flat top with rising bottoms. Usually, this one breaks first. Again, nothing is 100%, but usually that's what you see. You have moves like this, and then usually they break to the upside. Same thing here. You have moves like that, and then they eventually should break to the upside. but that it definitely looks like we have more pain ahead. The daily, not completely oversold, but again, we have maybe some positive divergence. But again, I would like to see, going below 30 and even 20 before we get the positive divergence. Same thing here for SPY, URNM against SPY. I'm very convinced that we're going to test that level down here, that big breakout there, and now we're coming in for the big retest again. Bit more downside. XLE against the SPX. As you know, overall, we would like the big energy sector there to outperform SPX. That helps uranium, believe it or not, it really does. And we are bouncing here at this lower bull flag. And if my theory is, or my thoughts is that if XLE, so that's oil and gas, starts to outperform, let's say, SPX, that should really, pull up uranium as well, because uranium is energy. Well, you know that, but again, that is clearly my thoughts here. Here we have, this is the uranium spot price against Bitcoin. Again, we were so close, you can see here, it was just, I want to show you. Bitcoin is tech, by the way. So the highest beta the highest beta tech stock, you can say, Bitcoin, is in favor still here. We couldn't break that golden trend line, and now we're broken down, straight down, basically, for the past 6 weeks. We are coming into some support, which you can see there, that this kind of low stuff going on over here, you can see that's clearly, and then we retest it, and then we go higher. So I do expect a lot of support here when we get down to there. Uranium spot against gold. Gold does tremendously well, and I think this call that I have, that we're probably going to retest that line, is maybe coming to fruition. I don't think that the spot price will, drop down to 50, but I do think gold is on a major journey that will outperform the uranium spot price big time. Same thing here against silver. We could potentially see silver still outperform roughly 20% before we get that big retest. And if it matches up with June the 10th here, June the 10th, that's just mega double support. So there you have it. If that happens, that would be a turning point big time, in my view, for uranium spot price. So yeah, nasty day for uranium spot price. And good luck to all the Australian miners tomorrow. That will not be pretty. So yeah, it is what it is. We couldn't hold the short-term bear flag, negated, and now what it seems like we're rolling over. It seems like, obviously, nothing is set in stone. We have seen, often you see, potential, topping patterns, fail, and then they start to do higher. We can look at, there are some shipping stock that has done the exact same thing, where we undercut the neckline, retest back in, and then we actually drift very high, very quickly. So yeah, it's all a matter of probabilities. But yeah, today is probably not the day that you want to remember for the rest of your life in uranium, especially that $9 drop in spot price. Nasty. Guys, it is what it is. I hope you enjoyed the update. One of the more bearish ones that I've done in a long time, in a very long time, by the way. So it is what it is, as mentioned. Guys, have a great day. Bye.